It's hard to believe that we are actually more than halfway through now, 2024. I don't know how the time flies so quickly, but through the first 6 months of the year, TATT has hosted 44 regional engagements with more than 1,500 participants. I know many of you on the call have been part of one or many of those this year, and we greatly appreciate it. We're taking a break this month from our regular Upstate Connect Friday morning event that we do in partnership with the Urban League of the Upstate. However, we will be back in August with a fun event at Anderson University, where we will tour their new athletic facility and hear about the start of their football program this fall. Evan is going to put the registration link for that event on August 16th in the chat. So we'd love to have you join us in Anderson for that in August. TATT is also partnering with the South Carolina Office of Rural Health to host 3 business focus groups in Cherokee County on July 30th, Union County on July 31st, and Pickens County on August 1st. All of these sessions are part of the DREAMS initiative that is being supported by the Appalachian Regional Commission to support the development of recovery-friendly communities in the upstate. If you have a location in one of those counties or employees from any of those counties, we want you to be a part of the focus group around this important employment attraction and retention issue. Evan is putting each of the 3 registration links in the chat, and we hope you'll be able to join us for one of those sessions. Last month during the TATT chat, Craig Sharton shared information about the Upstate Downtown Academy, a monthly outing beginning in August, where Craig and attendees will explore various downtowns across the Upstate. These sessions are being limited to no more than 25 attendees, and each one will focus on a different downtown and a different element of a community revitalization. The first session is being held in Greenville on August 15th and will feature Greenville Mayor Knox White as part of the program. We have only about a dozen spots remaining for that session, so if you're interested, please be sure and register today. Evan is also posting that link in the chat. It seems hard to believe, but today we are exactly 2 months away from our biannual Upstate Regional Summit, which will take place on September 11th at the Greenville Convention Center. The theme for this year is Maximizing Our Future, and we have a great program planned. The link to the summit webpage that includes details about our keynote speaker, breakout sessions, and other panelists is being put in the chat. If you are a TATT funding partner, you should have received information about redeeming your complimentary tickets. If you are not a current funding partner, individual tickets and table sponsorships are now on sale through the link that Evan is putting in the chat. TATT is very fortunate to have a generous and loyal group of funding partners. Just this year, we have added 15 new funding partners, including 2 brand new leadership level partners. I am pleased to welcome Enersys as a new leadership level partner. They are a Pennsylvania-based company that are preparing to build a lithium-ion battery plant in the Piedmont area. I'm also pleased to welcome back to the leadership level WSPA TV as a media partner. WSPA has been a supporter of TATT since the very beginning of the organization and my arrival here nearly 15 years ago, and we are pleased to have them back as a partner at the leadership level. You can see the list of our leadership level partners on the presentation slide, and Evan is adding a link to the chat with the full list of our 100 plus funding partners, and thank you to all. If your organization or business is not a current funding partner, don't worry, as now is the perfect time to join our partner team to receive your partner tickets for the summit and our other big events coming up this year. We are also hosting a potential partner event in Spartanburg on August 26th. Evan is posting the link to that event in the chat. If you are not a current partner and are interested in becoming a 10 at the Top partner, please feel free to reach out directly to me. Okay, wow. Whew. Doug, that was a lot. I am very thrilled to be turning it over now to our speaker for today. I think Doug Lineberry and I first talked about the trademarks and intellectual property more than a decade ago, and he is really the upstate guru on this issue. And if you have any doubt about the importance, I'll tell you, when we came up with our logo and tagline in 2012, 10 counties, one upstate, stronger together. And now, of course, you hear everybody using the phrase stronger together. And while I don't think that was something we could actually trademark, I kind of wish we could have, because it seems like everybody is using that now, and we would probably have a great revenue stream if that were a possibility. But Doug, thank you for being with us. And I will say, because you're gonna, I'm sure, I know, talk through your slides, but you also have sent me a one-page handout of things for folks that I will include in the follow-up. So if there is anything that you don't, you miss from Doug's conversation, it should be included in his follow-up notes.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Dean. Hey, Dean, for to conserve everybody's time, how long do you want me to go? And I'll set a timer so I don't
about 25 to 30 minutes.
Not a problem, my friend. I'll set it right now.
And are you sharing your screen, or do you want me to share it?
I will share it, and I'll do it right now. Bear with me 2 seconds while I turn on my presentation. But everybody, happy summer. Like Dean said, it is incredible to believe that it's already August. I don't understand how we're there already. I've got 2 high schoolers that are also wondering where the devil their summer went. So I think there are a lot of people right now who wish there had been more summer coming up. But let's see if I can get this done the right way. And Dean, are you guys seeing my full presentation now? Or are you seeing the little split slide thing?
I am seeing the split.
Yeah, bear with me 1 second. I was sharing the wrong screen, but we will get it fixed. I'll move y'all over here. I've got too many screens in my office, and so you think I would catch on. Now let's try this one. Let's see here. But y'all, one thing while we're doing this, please feel free to ask questions. As Dean will tell you, this is not a formal situation by any chance. I want all of y'all to be very comfortable with this, and I don't want anybody to think, oh, I had a moment to ask something and I didn't. Dean, how's that look?
That looks correct.
Awesome. But guys, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to speak. You're not interrupting. I've got a timer set to respect everybody's time. But today, what we wanted to go over is a little bit of a nuance. And summer's a big time that this hits. Everybody's talking about it. And Dean, you had a great idea. Think the royalties you'd have off that trademark now if we filed for that. The way that everybody's wanting to use the term, the way that everybody's wanting to come there. But that's exactly what we want to talk about today, is how do we protect this intellectual property? What is it? And what are scams that happen? And the scams happen all the time, guys. When I file a trademark for somebody, whether it's 1 mark, 10 marks, whatever it might be, I always warn them in an email that these scams are going to come. They do. These guys are as dependable as evil clockwork. But for today, we want to go over 3 critical facets. And what are our types of intellectual property? How do we protect those? And how will we avoid the scams, the charlatans, and the snake oil salesmen? We're going to cover all 3 of these. A good side tangent, Dean's going to give you guys a IP handout that I put together, but a really good resource is the United States Patent and Trademark Office. They have a website that literally goes over the scams, and you can report folks for scams. If you think that someone scammed you or a friend, you've got the ability to report to them. And we'll go over some other sources later in the presentation that are also available. But why do we have intellectual property? It encourages creativity. We're talking about the trails and how soon Greenville is going to have a massive continuous trail system. That's awesome. But that's creativity, guys. The reason we're doing that is we want to have the ability to bring everybody in. We want to have the ability for everybody to be comfortable. And so part of that creativity, whether in a nature sense or in a technological sense, is, hey, investment. investment in research, investment in resources, being able to keep these innovations going. And for us, we've got four big types: patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets. And everybody with a business in this room, I promise you, you have at least two. You've got a trademark and a trade secret today, Thursday, as we're sitting here on July. And so what I want everybody to be aware of is if you haven't protected them, do so. Contact me, contact another intellectual property attorney, and get the process started. If you don't, there's some bad things that can happen. One thing too is like, your patents, those are inventions, guys. And everybody loves their inventions. We talk about them. We're like, hey, this is my bouncing baby invention. Let me tell you about it. I will caution you, be careful who you tell it to and when you tell it to them. The United States Patent Office has gotten a lot better about tracking things down. I just responded to a office action this morning to where they found my client's website and had went back before the client contacted me. They had an article up showing the invention that we filed a design patent on. The examiner found that and said, hey, you need to explain this. It came out before this invention. You need to let me know why it's there, what happened with it. But everybody in the room, besides a trademark, you also have trade secrets. And I know it sounds very James Bond, especially on a nice July day. You're like, wow, what kind of trade secrets do I have? You've got your expansion plans. You've got your pricing. You've got what you're going to do with your business. You've got your new trademarks. You've got your new innovations. All of those are trade secrets. Your pricing, your secret recipes, all of those guys are steeped in innovation. And so don't think, hey, just because my business might be quote unquote simple, that it doesn't have these. It does. Whether you're a complex business, a simple business, a garage business right now, or a Fortune 500, the same rules apply to everybody. Now, what kind of protection do we want from these? We want to prevent them from being infringed. Dean talked about everybody using Stronger Together. If he had trademarked that back in the day and had the ability, it would have been his. He could have leased it out to people and could have had a revenue stream on it. Dean's not the type of guy to do that. We all know that. He wants to collaborate. He wants to innovate. He wants us all to work together. But for your private businesses, you don't want people innovating off of you. You don't want them infringing your work. What you want to do is to prevent that from happening. Now, for us, sorry guys, my slides have cranked down for a minute. There we go. We do have two types of intellectual property. We have public intellectual property that we're seen, we want seen, and then we've got the private. That's the type we don't want seen. The types that are seen: patents, trademarks, copyrights. The type that are not seen, those trade secrets that everybody has. And so remember that there are two categories of them. There's a type that you absolutely want out there within a time constraint. So with your patents, remember, once your patent application's out there, feel free to tell people about it. Feel free to put it on your website. Your trademarks, once they're filed, put them on there. A tragic situation that's all public record, you can go check. We have a business in Columbia called Carolina Charcuterie, and they make charcuteries and make a lot of money off these charcuteries. They had called me, I guess, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, stating, hey, I've got a problem. I found this business in Charlotte, the other Carolina, and they also had a Carolina charcuterie, but they were located in Charlotte. And so the owner from Columbia called the person in Charlotte and said, hey, I want you to stop using my trademark. Didn't think anything about it, was just being very nice, handling things the way that he was like, would want it handled with him. Well, unfortunately, when he hung up that call, the other charcuterie went and filed a trademark on that name. And you'll notice we talk about this later on in the presentation. Those filings of your trademarks, the filings from a third party that you didn't get permission to, is a problem. And in this situation, our guy thought he was doing something good. He was just being very nice. He reached out to them, tried to handle it in a gentlemanly manner. And unfortunately, they turned the tables on him and filed for the trademark. And so what we learned from that was, hey, if you're going to reach out to somebody, if you're going to contact them, you should have your trademark on file first. Because if you don't, you run the very real risk of them playing this game. And then it's much more expensive to try to undo their trademark than it simply would have been to file yours and tell them to stop using it. Now, another aspect for us, guys, is, these things are long-lived. A lot of people think of intellectual property and they're like, yeah, okay, they've got a time span. The smallest of them is 15 years. That's a design patent. A utility's 20. That new invention you've got, how it works, that's a 20-year span, folks. A design on just the appearance of it, 15. Trademarks, let me ask a question just to get everybody to wake up a little bit. Y'all, what is the world's oldest trademark? I'll give you a hint. It's not from the U.S. If you want to throw that in the chat, if you want to just take a long verbal guess, you let me know. And Anne Marie, I see your question. I'll get that in just 1 second. All right, no guesses? Come on, guys. The Bible. All right, McCord, I hear you. Old book, not quite that old. I'll give you another hint. It is a liquid product. Nitro, Coke. All right, we're getting others. Wine. All right, now Dean is the Dean and Karen are both knocking on the door. Y'all, the Stella Artois beer. There's some discussion as to how old the trademark actually is. Rough number, 625 years. Been in continuous use since then. You guys can go buy it in Publix this afternoon. It is still in use. So trademarks can be nigh infinite if you continue to use them. A copyright, meanwhile, only lasts a whopping 70 years. Could be 95 if it's not published. Trade secrets, meanwhile, can be infinite. Right now is a good example. Coke. Coke's trade secret's been going 100 plus years. I don't know if you guys heard, there was a situation where Pepsi hired an administrative assistant from Coke, and she actually had gotten access to the recipe. When she goes to Pepsi and offers it to him, Pepsi does the both hands in the air, calls Coke immediately and says, "You will not believe what we've got going on over here." Coke actually sent over security people to apprehend her at that point with the police because she had absconded with the Coca-Cola secret recipe. And they did keep it secret. Pepsi didn't want to know about it. They're like, if we find this out, we will be involved in litigation with Coke until the end of time. And they literally were just both hands in the air. We don't want to know. Don't need to know. Now, Anne Marie, back to your question, and everybody else, feel free to ask, feel free to speak out, whatever's good for y'all. How do you protect an idea while you're developing it? I.e., getting the software developed for your idea, but not letting them take it over from you. Great question, Anne Marie. A couple things you want to do. Foremost, if you're getting the software developed by a third party, if it's not Anne Marie typing it out, you're going to want to have an agreement with them, and they're going to want to have assigned the ownership in that software code to you. We talk about copyrights, and you would not think that software code is a copyright, but it absolutely is. And so a couple things, Anne Marie, we're going to keep it on the principle. We're not going out and telling folks about it. You want to have a non-disclosure agreement with the software coder. You want to have an assignment from the coder to you, Anne Marie, or preferably your company, stating, hey, when this is all said and done, Anne Marie LLC or Shaylee LLC or however you've got it set up, Anne Marie, is going to be the owner of it. So that is an awesome question. But foremost, we don't go doing a TikTok on it. We don't do a YouTube on it, not until we're ready. We keep that secret during the development phase. We have a non-disclosure agreement with whomever's doing this work for you. It could be a software coder, it could be a web designer, it could be a prototyper, whomever it may be. And we want to make certain that whatever work they make for you comes back to you. And a lot of folks are familiar with the concept of work made for hire. It is the worst description ever in intellectual property because everybody thinks if I pay you for something, I get it, I own it. That is not the case. Work made for hire only works in 9 very specific organizations such as film production, making an atlas, making answers for a test. In my many years of being a patent attorney, as the gray hair shows a little more every day, I've only had one situation to where any of those 9 occurred. The other situation is an employee in the scope of their duties creating for you. And again, the important parts there are employee, not a third-party independent contractor, in the scope of their duties. So we want to make certain that if these folks are working for you, that they are doing what you want them to do for you. And if it's a third party who is not your employee, you will not have the work made for hire transfer from them. So what we need to do is to make very sure that you're protected. And what we want to do again on that is we want to have a non-disclosure. We want to make certain there is an assignment coming back to your company, and we keep things until we're ready for you to talk about them, Anne Marie. That is an awesome question. Everybody else feel free to ask them as well. Now, moving on to our next one, here's how I want you to think of your IP. And I'm not being over dramatic. There are timelines. Like the situation where the prototype was put out on a website, that triggered a 1-year bar, guys. If we don't file for a prototype within that period, we're going to be in trouble. We don't want that to ever catch us. It's like a bear trap. and it does not let go. Oh, Lily Hall has one. Are you saying work made for hire? Yes, I am, Lily. That was the concept. Work made for hire. A lot of people misunderstand that, meaning I paid for it, I own it. That's not it. Work made for hire only applies in 9 very specific instances: filmmaking, creating an atlas, test answers, etc., or when it's an employee in the scope of their duties, meaning if the janitor creates software code for you, it's not going to be a work made for hire situation. But yes, I was saying work made for hire. And y'all continue to ask questions. This is perfect. Now, how do we square it away? Just like we mentioned a second ago, we want assignments for our patents. We want assignments for our copyrights. If you have a trademark and someone else designed the logo for you, or if you have a website and someone else created it for you, you want an assignment. We want to make certain that all those dangling chads of IP belong to your company, not you. We don't want it to be a personal asset. We don't want it to be, subject to liability for a car wreck or a divorce. We want it to be in a company. But we also want to make certain it's in writing, guys. Now, when I say no handshakes, I mean it. I used to be a litigator at Nelson Mullins back in my previous life, and we had a case that went on 3 years between 2 former best friends who had a handshake agreement. I don't want any of y'all doing that ever. I know it is so tempting to do it. You're like, I trust this person. They're good. They're great. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Make certain that you have it in writing, that you know who's going to get what. For your trademarks, make certain that you own that logo. And I mean, you own the trademark and the copyright. If you actually don't end up getting the copyright and the logo assigned to you, the artist can come back later and demand royalty. Kind of like Dean was talking about for Stronger Together. You have the ability to say, hey, I, copyright artist, created your logo. You owe me a royalty because you did not dot your I's and cross your T's. Again, copyrights, have those assignments done. Well, Federal Register, the big ones. When you've had that eureka moment, when you've got that work of art that you're like, wow, I did something really good, those are the ones you're going to want to protect. And again, our trade secrets, guys, a non-disclosure agreement, even if it's a prospective person and you don't know if it's going to go anywhere, do it. This will show, like, if someone's going to buy your company, they'll want to come in and say, hey, our succession plans to see how well you've been stewarding the business. Do you have physical security? What kind of documentation do you have? Show that you treat these secrets like a secret. Unfortunately, I will have clients call up occasionally and be like, oh, I just gave somebody a plant tour. And that makes my stomach hurt. It makes it hurt now telling y'all about it. Don't do things like that. You want to make very certain that you take care of it. Oh, Anne-Marie's got another question. She says, can you patent an idea before it's developed? Yes, you can, Anne-Marie. You do not have to have a prototype or a functioning version of it before you take it to the patent office. As long as you've got the concept fleshed out or reduced to practice, are the words we use, you can absolutely file a patent on it. People do that all the time. So yes, the short answer is you absolutely can patent an idea before it's commercially developed or out there on the shelf at Walmart. Back, and y'all please keep asking questions. This is how we learn. Lily wants me to go back one slide to the NDA. Lily, is this the one you wanted? And y'all, Dean will give you a copy of this. He's already got a copy of it, so don't feel that you have to take notes. I'm more than happy with all of y'all having a copy of it. Lily, if you've got a question on that, you let us know, my dear. We will take care of it for you.
Yeah, we will include the not just the handout, but also the PowerPoint in our recap.
Yep, absolutely. And so, guys, our takeaway menu for today for learning our IP is this: review it. Everybody here has a minimum of a trademark and trade secrets, period. Probably got a copyright in there as well. Protect it, file on it or keep it a secret if it's a trade secret. Before having any big discussions, sit back for a second, take a breath. Like, all right, what did Doug say about a patent? I shouldn't disclose that until I've either got a patent application on file. If it's a trade secret, I never disclose it. If it's a trademark, I want to have a mark application filed before I start talking about it. And if it's copyright, I want to make certain it's assigned to my company. And also, guys, this IP is not just a today thing and it's not a last night thing. Anne-Marie's wanting to know how hard it is to get a patent. It really depends, Anne-Marie. I've been doing them for years now, and you can either get a utility. Yeah, And I love this. You guys, this is a great point, Dean, about how Mickey Mouse has become part of the public domain. Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh. We've got several famous characters. I think Bambi's now in that. Y'all, I'm a big nerd. I'm a comic book collector. And yesterday over at Richard's Comics, Lawrence Road, go if you've never been. It's a great store. Tell Richard Doug sent you. I'm there every week. But there was a Winnie the Pooh versus Bambi comic. And the reason those are out there now is because those characters, their copyrights expired. So there is a limit to it. Anne Marie, as far as reverting back to you, it depends on the patent. If you've got a fusion reactor, that's going to be more complex and more expensive. If you've got a simple mechanical device, those can be done for a very much lower fee. If it's a design patent, meaning it just protects the look of an invention, that can be done even cheaper. So it really just depends, and complexity will depend on the complexity of the device. But y'all, great questions. Keep doing this. Now, our scams, guys. Here's the fun part for today. We get to badmouth attorneys in part, and we get to talk about bad people. This is a fun thing. All of y'all are aware of places like LegalZoom, IPGo. All these joints are like, we will give you IP for nothing. It'll cost you $1, and you get all this great IP. Y'all, it is such a scam. You want somebody like me, an attorney, who you can drive to their office and talk to, that you can do a Zoom or a Teams with and talk to. You want somebody that, hey, if I goof something up, you go to the South Carolina bar and report my dumb butt and say, hey, this Lineberry guy was working with me and this is totally screwed up and it's all his fault. You've got that ability with me because being a licensed attorney, y'all, it's important for me to do your work right because y'all got the ability to turn me into the bar. But like LegalZoom, IPGo, all these other places, you may be dealing with an attorney who won't be there in 3 weeks. One thing I want y'all to be really aware of, though, when these contacts come out, if you guys file a trademark, if you file a patent, you're going to be contacted by these folks. And notice I didn't say you might be. There's a potential. You will. They will reach out to you. They will contact you. I had a client, a new client, actually. I just filed a trademark for about 2 weeks ago. Got a document from one of the bad guys. I'll show you here on the list in a second, stating, hey, you owe me $2,800. Luckily, he called me and he goes, Doug, he goes, I thought your firm's name was Offit Kurman. I'm like, yeah, it is, Andrew. And he goes, well, it's funny. He said, I've gotten this big invoice from these guys called the WTP for trademark protection saying I owe them $2,800. And again, those guys are scummy. Also, are your attorney credentials, guys? If your attorney is a car wreck attorney, don't have them do your IP. Come to one of the nerds like me or one of my brothers or sisters that does patents, trademarks, copyrights. I swim this water every day, all full days. So make certain that you're using an attorney who's in the area, guys, because our area is kind of like talking to Anne Marie is, it's not simple. It has its own context to it. So, make certain your attorney swims this area. If you're being pressured, watch out. And I mean this by anybody. If it's a business deal and they're trying to really pressure you, be careful of it. If they don't communicate, that's one thing folks hate about attorneys is when we don't get back to you. And everybody's busy. That's a given. But you can get back to somebody. 24 hours to 48 is not outlandish. If you're not hearing back from somebody after that point, there's a problem. And if they're not telling you what your fees are, really watch out because you want to be very careful that you know what you're getting into and how you're getting into it. How the scammers contact you. A lot of them still use mail, which is kind of crazy. You would think, the way that mail seems to be sort of phasing out, except for junk mail and bills, that, that seems like a very archaic way to do it, but it's absolutely a great way for them to do it. That's what the client got the other day. It was a letter in the mail. They'll email you too if they can get a hold of your emails. That's one thing that when I file a trademark for, I don't put any client information in there. They'll see a name and they'll see an address because I have to put that in there. And that's how they do the mailing letter, but no phone numbers, no emails, because I don't want it to be so simple that they can call you up directly and do that. We have to protect you from that. These scams, though, they'll sit and say, hey, a third party is going to follow up your mark. Oh my gosh. Or, oh, wow, this date's coming up and you've missed it. And then they will try to give you a really short turnaround on this, y'all. Don't fall for it. It is a scam. Call your attorney, have a copy of that thing. You can scan it, email it to them. They'll be able to look right at it. Do a Zoom and hold it up in front of the camera. That's okay too. But watch out for these tactics. They're out there. Some of these Legions of Doom members, WTP Trademark Publication. That's exactly who contacted my client the other day. The brand registration office is a big one. The Patent and Trademark Bureau I would put them second place behind WTP. You will see these guys. They will send you stuff. It looks very official. But watch out for them, guys. And this is a short list. The Patent and Trademark Office has a list that's got about 30 names on it. I kind of picked the biggest offenders just to show you that, hey, these folks are out there. They're doing bad things, and I don't want y'all caught in that web. Recognize these common signs. If you're talking with these folks, if they're emailing you, if they're calling you, if they somehow got that information, USPTO personnel don't want to know your personal info. They don't want to know your payment info. They're not going to tell you to send them a check. They absolutely will not tell you to send them a check to a third address. But these common scams, again, y'all, spoofing your phone numbers, using an imposter email, those fraudulent letters from WTP stating, hey, you owe me money. Hey, someone's getting ready to file for your mark. Or you will also sometimes find out that they will falsify emails. They will try to change the emails in an application to direct it somewhere else. That's a really big no-no, so you got to be careful on anybody trying to do that. Anne Marie asks, can we, make certain I didn't skip it. There we go. Anne Marie asks, can you be held legally liable if someone filed a patent before you did, but didn't know they did? Depends, Anna Marie, if it is issued as a patent application and you are performing either that method or you've got a device that reads on it, you can be liable for it. So what you would want to do is do a patentability search. If you've got a concept and you're like, hey, I don't know what may or may not be out there, do a patentability search. I've got third parties I work with that do great jobs at this. They use algorithmic AI software, and it can really find a lot of stuff that's out there. But absolutely, if you're making a device that infringes someone's issued patent, you can get in trouble for it, even if you don't know about it. So guys, what happens if any of these situations occur? What happens if you think you're scammed? Call your real attorney. And I don't mean your real estate attorney. Call a real attorney and say, hey, I think this happened. What do I do? The trademark office actually has a trademark scams email that you can contact. If you've paid these guys by accident, if you just sent a check, y'all, that is my time, but we're on the last slide, so this works out. But if you sent somebody a check or a credit card number, call the bank, call the credit card company, dispute the charge. You can contact the Federal Trade Commission, the FCC, the Better Business Bureau. And also, if they've sent you a piece of paper, you can take and report that to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. So there are many groups that you can use. That's how those names all came back on this list, was folks saying, hey, WTP, WTPR, Patent and Trademark Bureau, these guys tried to scumbag me, and I don't want you, any of y'all falling for this. So guys, I want y'all to think of ways to protect yourselves. I also want you to check on the trademark office and see if your mark's on there. If it is and you didn't file for it, that's a problem. If anybody ever tries to contact you wanting personal info like social security number, payment information, claiming they're from the patent office or some similar name, do not give it to them. If you're concerned about your mark, if you're concerned about what's happening to it, contact an IP attorney, again, not your real estate attorney, not your REC attorney. If your mark is registered without your authorization, i.e. someone's tried to steal it, contact an attorney. There are things you can do, but without the attorney, you won't be able to. Another thing is if you're an importer and you think someone might be trying to bring in counterfeit goods, you can check with Border Patrol. Customs and Border Protection keeps a list of marks that have been put on there. And if you put your mark on to say, hey, I know there's counterfeiters that will try to use this mark, they will stop those for you. So there are a lot of good ways, folks, for us to be protected and to understand what's out there. But y'all have been awesome. And I am just a little bit over my time window, but I'm going to stop talking to see if anybody else has any questions.
No, you are great, Doug. This is excellent. You have taken a topic that I think all of us are intimidated by and don't understand, and always make it one that we can really, communicate and understand with. So I appreciate that. It looks like you have Lily has, Lily, our doctor, has written a little question here for you. You may not have time to.
I'm reading it right now. Lily, you ask good questions, Chica. Hold on. I made the petition for they would share the picture. Wow, this is a good one. Lynn, I want to read it out loud. This is a great question. And Martine and Robin, you are both welcome. I'm glad that y'all like this. Glad you listened because these scams are real, guys. Like Edward got hit with it last week. But let's go back to Lily's. All right, doctor, I want to dig into this. Here's our scenario. Someone was hired as an independent contractor for photography and a short video. There was no non-disclosure agreement. The hired person saw a celebrity, Tom Cruise, let's say, and took pictures with the celebrity at the end of their work time. The group who hired them made them give up the picture for fear that they would share the picture on social media and asked them not to do it again when they were doing a job for them. Who was right in this scenario? Man, that is twisted, Lily. I like that. That is a good question. So what we've got is a situation to where there's an independent contractor hired. There was a celebrity there. What we would have wanted to done in that case, and it doesn't sound like there are any writings here, Lily, and you'll notice that earlier slide, writings are paramount. So if you want to be able to use a celebrity's persona, their pictures, etc., you're going to get a release from them. Because, like, if we put Dean's picture up someplace, Dean has protections. He's got the ability to stop us from using that. He's got the ability to say, hey, Doug, hey, Chris McCord, hey, Paul Shoemaker, you can't do this. Hey, Craig, you can't do this. And so what we don't want to do is step on those toes. So Lily, what would have happened, and again, you're protecting the celebrity, there's probably some politics in there as well of, hey, we don't want them mad at our organization. We don't want a picture of them being put on social media that maybe they weren't prepped for or didn't feel like they were in their best light. So what you would want to do is you want to have a release to the folks there saying, hey, if you're at this event and you're pictured, you're okay with it. That doesn't matter if you're Chevy Chase or Tom Cruise or whomever. If you've given out that release, that's okay. If you don't have that release, though, that's problematic because these folks at the event can always say, I don't want you using my picture. They're completely in the realm to do that. Telling the independent contractor to not do that, you're kind of tying their hands because the event coordinator need to think about this a little bit and say, hey, if we're going to have a person here with video, a person here taking photos, we need to make certain that the audience is aware of, hey, you may be videoed, you may be photographed, including famous people and not famous people. If you got an issue with that, come tell us. Otherwise, we'll put you up. You'll all look beautiful. But Lily, that is an awesome question. I like that.
We could certainly, Doug, go into, and I've got some follow-ups questions to that, but we don't have time, so we'll have to wait till the next time we get you on one of the chats. But
absolutely, Dean.
Thank you for sharing, and like we said, we will include both Doug's presentation and the cheat sheet, the one pager that he has sent to me in our recap to give you kind of some more details. And if nothing else, what I've learned, as I've heard from Doug before, is if you don't know, you better ask a professional in that way. Doug, can you put your contact information in the
absolutely
chat
guys.
for everybody?
Putting it right here.
Great. Well, while you're doing that, I am going to pivot very quickly to share my screen again, and hopefully I can do a better job. I got all the messages after I was done last time that I had some things on there that weren't supposed to. So let me see if I can get this right this time. All right, are you seeing my slide, or is it in slideshow mode? Robin, I'm going to ask you.
We can
You're
see
good, Dean.
It is or is not?
You're good. It's in slideshow view.
Oh,
That's
thank
right.
goodness. Okay. Just very quickly, again, these are our partners and we appreciate that. And then I wanted to share more slide. We mentioned a bunch of events and things coming up, but there is one more that is important that I wanted to specifically include a slide of on the 25th of July. Well, I'm not going to get to the slide, but Evan, will you please put the Elevate Upstate Grant Workshop information in the chat. On July 25th, many of you know for the last 11 years we have partnered with Hughes Investments, and they have been very generous to support more than 30 vibrancy initiatives across the upstate region, and we are excited to continue that. Again, this year we will be having the finalists and announcing them at our Celebrating Successes event on November 19th. That is always a fun end of year event, but our grant workshop is coming up on July 25th. It will be held at Bridgeway Station. So if you are interested in learning more about the grant, if you're a local community or a neighborhood group or nonprofit, these are all public activities or things that have to be open to the public. So if you're interested in learning more about the grant, please join us on July 25th. So with that, I am going to introduce our resource update for today, and that's Monty Whitson with the Greenville Tech Foundation. And Greenville Tech has been a great organization here in the upstate for more than 60 years, doing some amazing things with helping our industries and job growth, as all of our technical colleges do. And Monty, I am pleased to have you. Are you sharing your screen, or do I need to get the PowerPoints for you?
I sent I have 5 slides that I sent to.
I've got it.
Okay.
I will get it while you are starting to talk. I will get them up for you. Okay.
Thank you, Dean. And we're so thrilled to have a few minutes to share a bit of what we do. If you have never heard of the Greenville Tech Foundation, we exist for the benefit of Greenville Technical College. We are a 501c3. We're a nonprofit, and all donations, of course, are tax deductible. A lot about what we do, well, I'll say it this way. Everything we do is for our students. And for example, today at lunch at our Culinary Institute, I took one of my donors and she had a fabulous time. We have a wonderful culinary school, the Institute, off of Whitehorse Road in Berea. And I was sharing with her that I met a new student who received funding from the Student Emergency Needs Fund. And that is the fund that she donates to. And that because of her dollars, this family was able to pay rent again for the next 3 months. So a lot of folks are having a hard time right now with inflation and with things. Just the cost of everything has skyrocketed, it seems. So our students are not immune to that. Even though they've made a smart choice to go to school at Greenville Tech, which is very affordable, it's, you know, they have basic needs insecurities. 57% of our students experience basic needs insecurities. So anyway, my donor handed me a $2,000 check before we left. If any of you feel so inclined to help with that fund, I would love to speak with you. And our students are able to use money from that fund once a year. It's through our STAR resources.
This poster.
Hello.
You go.
So anyway, let's thank you, Dean, for getting those slides up. I'll try to get through these pretty quick. We, of course, the main thing, scholarships, that's critical. So many programs that come in and come out of play are finite. For example, when we have the zero tuition, well, endowed scholarships, of course, go beyond that, of course, into perpetuity. That's forever and ever. So endowed scholarships are wonderful. We always need more of those. 68% of our students receive financial aid. We need support more than ever, because what she's asking if we get the free tuition. No, there's a program now called pathways, the career pathways, and that does provide a $5,000 scholarship a year to certain to students in certain going to like workforce jobs, especially in advanced manufacturing. That's the quick answer to that, Anne-Marie. We years ago, it was around 60-ish% of state and federal funding and local aid. Now that's about maybe 15%, if that. So that's why our donors are so important to us, and that we couldn't do this without them. More than 20% of our students are first generation. Again, as I mentioned, 57% of our students experience some kind of basic needs insecurity. We have a lot of working students. We have single parents, many of them just trying to get to take, to get a better step, to make better steps for a better future. Anne-Marie, did Pathways replace it? Yes, basically. So that money is going to be finite again at some point, or will run out at some point. So we hope that folks who are interested in scholarships will contact us about endowed. And am I doing this slide next? Do I have control?
No, I will move it.
Oh,
for you,
thank you.
I think.
I think you got it, Dean. I have faith in you.
Mouse is not working.
And I saw
Yeah.
someone on,
Okay.
oh, there we go. Okay, so this just gives you an idea, a little bit of where the money goes, or where the money has come from. And it's so interesting. Most of our money, usually the donations are coming in from individuals. This year, it's pretty much corporate and individual is neck and neck. And that's really because Prisma Health did donate 1.5 million towards our new building and student access and student services, the Prisma Health Center for Health and Life Sciences. And that will be opening this fall. That's going to be a wonderful environment for our students, and about 95% of our students will be in that building at some point during the day. And we can hit the next slide. Thank you. I will mention gifts in kind. If there are corporations who don't have the funding right now, if they want to, for example, we got a forklift from a company. They didn't need it anymore. It worked fine. So we were able to use that at our school. Things like that we're just very appreciative of. Events, we have a couple that I'd like to mention. Our donor appreciation reception every April. This year we had it at our Center for Manufacturing Innovation. That's one of our campuses there near ICAR. And it was a lovely experience. We always just want to make our donors feel special, because they are. And Champions for Student Success will be in October. This is our annual event that focuses on those individuals or corporations who came through for us and really they were able to donate a considerable amount to help our students, either through scholarships and other ways. But that will be at our new building, the new Center for Health and Life Sciences on Barton. If you're interested in a sponsorship, $500 the sponsorship start at, and that would admit 2 people from your business or group to attend. And every time we have these events, it just brings it home. A lot of people leave learning something new. They hear we always have our students speak at our event, so you know how very important the programs are to them. And then the last slide, Dean, this is just our contact information. I do want to mention these wonderful men in this picture are associated with our OMSI program. If you don't know what that means, it's our African American Male Scholars Initiative program. We hope to one day, hopefully the next year or so, put 400 students through this program. This is one of those programs that has helped this demographic to the point that they are outpacing their white counterparts. And we just saw a need for this community, and it offers more personalized attention to OMSI students. A lot of our OMSI students, they're single parents. They need extra support in case management, and it's just proven to be very successful. So I just had to mention our OMSI program. Anytime you give to the foundation, you can earmark it, of course, for whatever department or school within the college. I thought I saw someone on here who is one of our advisory board members. We would love more advisory board members at our school, at all the schools. We have, School of Business, the School of Business and Computer Technology, the Culinary Institute. If you have any interest, please get in touch with me, and we would love to talk to you. Thank you, Craig, for that comment. Any questions? And if I don't know the answer, I'll find out. All right. Thank you, Dean.
Well, Monty, thank you very much. And
appreciate you.
We have, as Monty, Greenville Tech is a great example of this amazing technical college system that we have in South Carolina, and 4 of which are here in the upstate, and they all do amazing things and have similar challenges and needs when it comes to finances and things for students. So I appreciate you sharing kind of what you all do at Greenville Tech as it relates to trying to grow the funding to support your students. And if folks are in one of the other counties that is associated with one of the other technical colleges, I'm sure I know they all do the same things. So supporting any of our technical colleges is certainly critical and important. Well, I am going to get us out of here 4 or 5 minutes early. So I guess Evan and I did not do too bad with this. I do want to remind you that our next TATT chat will be on August 8th at 3 p.m. Very excited. Our guest speaker is the general manager of the new minor league baseball team coming to Spartanburg, the Hub City Spartanburgers. Tyson Jeffers will be our speaker. So look forward to that. And Evan has put the chat in the chat, put the registration for August, so you can join us. And of course, we will put that in the recap as well. So I hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of the week. And we look forward to seeing you again virtually next month for TATT Chat, but hopefully in person at 10 at the Top or other events going on in the upstate. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.